After countless trials, I've finally figured out how to make the creamiest, jiggliest flan you've ever seen. Flan is easy to make because it only uses a few ingredients, but it's difficult to master because the only thing between a good flan and a great flan is technique. So I'm going to show you everything you should be doing to guarantee the perfect flan just like this one right here. So let's get started. For any flan recipe, we always start with the caramel sauce, that sweet and sticky sauce that's going to make or break your flan. It's important that we get the right amount of browning and caramelization without burning it. In a small saucepan, we're going to add half a cup or 100 grams of white granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons of cold water. Turn your stove onto medium heat and start to melt that sugar down until all the granules of the sugar disappear. When you're making caramel for flan, don't stir the sugar as it can crystallize on the sides of the pan, and if it does start to do that, you can brush some water down the sides of the pan to get that sugar back into the mix. If anything, just swirl the pan around a bit so we don't get any hot spots in our caramel. We need to get our sugar to start to brown and develop caramel notes. This whole process takes about 10 minutes, so be patient and keep your eye on that sugar. I have these nice aluminum molds that are perfect for flan, but you can also use anything just like glass bowls. Nothing's really going to change except for the final shape of your flan. While we wait, we have 2 tablespoons of cold water ready to go once our caramel is at the right color. This is going to stop the cooking process so we don't burn our caramel. And caramel can go from perfect amber to burnt in a matter of seconds, so you gotta be quick. Once we have the desired dark amber color, add that water in and stop the cooking process and immediately transfer your hot caramel to your flan molds. As you can see, you gotta be pretty quick at this step, so make sure you have your water close by. Make sure your caramel at least covers the bottom of your molds for that beautiful brown top once we flip it over. Amber is a good visual sign to tell if your caramel is ready to go, but you can also use your nose as well. If you start to smell burnt notes, add your water as soon as you can and stop that cooking. We're going to leave our caramel to cool down a bit in its mold, and in the meantime, we're going to start on our custard, which is super simple to make and again, only takes a few ingredients. First, in a large bowl, crack in 3 whole eggs along with 3 additional egg yolks. The egg yolks are the key to creamy and smooth texture in flan or any custard really. So whisk all your eggs together until everything is homogeneous and there are no more stringy egg whites or egg yolks in your mixture. Then, in another saucepan or the one we just used for the caramel, cleaned of course, we're going to add in 2 cups or 480 grams of whole milk, half a cup or 100 grams of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and finally a strong pinch of salt to bring out all of those flavors. This is again going on the stove at medium heat with the goal being to dissolve that sugar in the milk and warm up that milk before it starts to boil. If we're being specific, we want our milk to be at about 160 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. And once that sugar is melted and the vanilla has time to infuse into the milk, we're going to combine our milk and eggs very slowly as to not cook our eggs and end up with sweet scrambled eggs. Add a small amount of milk at first while moving the eggs around to distribute the heat. And keep adding small amounts of hot milk into the eggs until you're about halfway through the milk. At this point, you'll be good to add the remaining milk as we've properly tempered our eggs at this point. What we want to see is a very wet custard that doesn't have any bits of cooked egg in it. If we warmed up our milk before the boiling point and whisked together the eggs and milk, we won't have any issues, especially if you're using those cold eggs straight from the fridge. Now, to get rid of all these bubbles on top of your custard, you have pretty much 2 options here that do a pretty good job. Either you can scoop the foam out with a spoon in a bowl of water, or you can pour your custard mixture through a sieve that's laying inside another bowl and slowly transferring your custard from one bowl to another. This will catch any stringy egg parts that never fully incorporated into your custard and remove the air bubbles that are on top of your custard. At this point, the caramel will have cooled down enough so we can carefully fill each mold with our custard mixture. Just make sure you're being gentle because we don't want to make any more bubbles that we just worked really hard to remove. For the perfect creamy texture all the way through your flan, we're going to cover each mold with tin foil. This controls the temperature of the flan exposed on the top to avoid overcooking it before the middle is fully set. So, no rubbery bits of flan. The last thing we need to do before these can go in the oven is prepare the hot water bath. I'm going to fill up this casserole dish halfway with hot water and use it as a vessel to hold the flan. Similar to the foil, this helps control the cooking temperature. Without the water, the flan on the outside would overcook before the inside is done. Now, these are ready for our oven, preheated to 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 degrees Celsius. Everything in this pan is wet, so it goes without saying, be careful when you're moving this into the oven. They're going to bake for about an hour. The cooking time is ultimately going to depend on the depth and size of your flan molds, but I'm going to show you how to check for doneness so yours come out perfect every time. Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying the video so far and excited to see the jiggliest flan you've ever laid your eyes on, then go ahead and hit that like button for me. Thanks. We've got about 10 minutes left on our 1 hour timer, so we're going to take these out and give them a quick check. I'll explain the visual signs to tell when your flan is done baking. With a little shake. This is too much wobble on our flan and the edges haven't fully set yet. If we stopped here, your flan would fall apart, split, or cave in. So, back into the oven for another 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, we've baked these for a full hour and you can tell how much our flan has changed by then. The outside edges don't move anymore, but there is just a slight wobble in the middle of our flan. Our flan is going to continue to bake a little bit more through carryover cooking, so this is the perfect time to stop. These need to fully cool in the fridge for at least 3 hours. I know, the worst part about making flan is having to wait before you can actually eat it. The nice thing is you can store your flan in the fridge for a few days and they'll be just as good when you're ready to have them. And finally, the moment that you've all been waiting for. If you ask me, the best part about making flan is unmolding it. By the way, when you use your knife to release the sides of the flan, use the back of the knife, not the blade side, for a cleaner edge. Don't do what I do. All we need to do now is give our flan a little shake until we hear it release and unmold our perfectly jiggly, creamy flan. Absolute cinema. And I know you already saw the jiggle in the intro, but let me show you again. The texture of this flan is so soft, it barely has enough strength to hold itself together. But that's why this is the perfect flan. It's like if creme brulee and flan had a kid. If your favorite dessert is flan, comment down below and tell me why it's the best. And tell me who you know that makes the best flan. I'm gonna go enjoy my sweet treat now, so I will see you all in the next video. See ya!